Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Chris Pfluger. You've seen me many times before, I'm sure. I'm the Chief Development Officer here at We Insure, and we are a little off cycle with instead of a it's normal we broadcast. We're going to do a We Welcome today. And so I'm always happy to do these We Welcomes because it means we're announcing another new owner, new person as part of our We Insure team. And again, someone I've worked with for many years. Florin is joining us right here. I think he's there on this side. Hey, Florin, how are you?
Good. How are you, Chris?
Good. And we have a co-owner, Wes King. So we have everybody with us today. And Florin, you've been an owner, and we've known you for years because we worked together on the RE/MAX side of the house. How long have you been an owner on that side?
About 15 years.
15 years. So I've known you for at least 11 of those, maybe 12 of those. And so it's always been a great working relationship here in the north part of Tampa. And actually two offices. You have Tampa and then the north part of Tampa in Pasco County, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. Wesley Chapel area for whoever is familiar.
Perfect. Well, it's fantastic to have you here. And also you have us joining with Mr. Wes King, as I mentioned. He is a producer that has joined, and again, a co-owner in your new We Insure venture. So welcome, Wes.
Thank you.
Great. And this is fantastic because this is another great example of how someone can have an idea, as we've talked, Florin, in the past about bringing value to their clients and, of course, all your agents out there. But it goes much further than that. So tell me a little bit about kind of the genesis of the idea. I know you've been thinking about, you've had other, ancillary services for your office, but now this is kind of a bigger idea for you. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, one of the main things was, I was fascinated by the insurance industry, so I started learning more about it. So we had several conversations before that, and I did my due diligence, and I found We Insure. So I think it's going to be a good addition to our offices. It will be an added benefit to our real estate agents, and to the consumers, being able to provide something in-house, one-stop shop. We always talk about one-stop shop. And but I think it's more than that. That's why I partnered with Wes with his 18 years experience, and we refer business back and forth for probably 10 plus years, and we have a great relationship. So that's how it morphed into this. So we want to take it to we already hired our first producer. So we want to take it more than just ancillary services to the RE/MAX Premier Group. We want to make sure that this is a firm that anybody can use and take advantage of the access to over 165 carriers, which I love that, having choices and saving consumers money. So that's kind of in a nutshell how we morphed into this.
Well, that's one of my favorite parts. When you talk to people and they say, especially in Florida, but in any market in the United States as we grow, you can see people say, well, the biggest difficulty I have is finding, shopping on my own, right? I have to go out and shop one or the other. And again, what do I know about insurance, right? Even as a homeowner or as, I own a bunch of autos and I have an umbrella policy, but what do I truly know about the policy itself, other than I always think it's too expensive. And the prices always seem to be going up. And if I have to move, which I've done myself before, it's just really difficult because I'm just randomly calling other firms hoping that I'm going to get a better price or that I truly understand what I'm even putting out there, right? Am I even getting the same policy and the right kind of coverage? And so when you have access to that many carriers, it gives you an opportunity to actually have someone like Wes do the shopping for me. And as an expert, tell me, this is what I think you need for your situation, as opposed to if I only have one or two carriers, here, take this. Here's the cheapest of the three that I have. Now I actually have something that makes sense for me. So I'll switch that over to Wes. You've obviously worked, with Florin for a while. You worked with a lot of the agents before in the past, and you have 18 years experience, in the industry working with multiple different carriers. So, what made this attractive for you with We Insure?
So it's the access to the carriers right away as soon as you come on. So like Florin said, there's 150 plus carriers that we've got access to right away. And then it's the back end. So we've got a sci-fi team that takes care of stuff for us. We've got a customer service department that can assist, which a lot of times, and anyone who's been in the industry knows, that takes up a lot of time. And so having that on the back end, being able to get to our clients right away who are looking for rates on their new house, their car, whatever it is that they need, and having the access to provide it to them. It's a no-brainer.
Well, that's a great point. When you say sci-fi, that we call that set it and forget it. That means you just bound the policy and you just turn it over to someone else on day one, and they take care of it at the We Insure headquarters with all of our service teams. So you don't have to do that piece either. And I guess you'll see in our We Wonder next week, we talked to some other owners that came across, and they said that's one of the biggest features was that first 90 days or so was just very labor intensive and took up a lot of time to make sure everything was just right. That's not on your plate anymore. So that's the great news. And so, Wes, I'll ask you again another question. You just went through training not long ago through, we had a multi-phase training. You went through the first phase very quickly because obviously you don't need a lot of foundational training. But when you got to the actual training, which used to be live, at headquarters, but now it's live via our kind of our Zoom and a daily, still a week long, still 8 hours a day, but obviously it's via Zoom. What did you think of that?
Super impressed. All the guys were knowledgeable. The way that the systems are used, because I've used some of those systems, some of the systems that we use in the We network. It's set up, night and day from what I've seen in some other spots, and just super, super impressed.
So that you're referring to our Applied Epic, which is obviously the industry leading software system that we have in place. So you used it before because obviously it's being used in the industry for other places. And the thing I just talked about a few minutes ago was the fact that it's being used differently. So the efficiencies associated with how we use it, helpful for you, obviously.
Yes, completely. Just the amount of stuff that I'm able to get done in a day. They take a lot of the back end stuff off of our plate so that we can focus on the clients, their needs, getting them the right policy, everything that they need up front.
And what if you had a question today? Do you know who to call? Do you feel comfortable?
Well, and that's part of what was so great about the training is, they break it down for you. This is the department that's going to help you with passwords. This is the department that's going to help you with doing changes that need to be done to the policy. So, and then everybody's super helpful across agency services, so there's always somebody there to answer the phone if you need to call or email. You get a response, almost instantly.
I think that's a great part about, when you mention agency services, a different department than our standard support. Agency services is a department that basically helps get you all those appointments for all those carriers right when you come aboard. So there's still some ongoing as you come aboard. It's not all necessarily day one, but it's as many as can be in the first few weeks before you actually get to that training. So when you start after the training, you're really up and running. And willing to get in there. And I know there's still some you're still looking for, and we're still working on some of those as well, just to make sure that you have all those arrows in your quiver. So again, it's a never-ending thing when there's that many carriers to get you all set up. But the great news is we won't stop until we get them all. So that's the wonderful part. And I'm excited to hear about the fact the training went well. Are you going to send you hired a new producer as well? Florin just mentioned it. Are you sending that person through training?
So we're talking about putting him through training on the next go around that they do. I think they do it, once a month. So definitely want to have him get involved with that so he can see exactly how everything works and everything else. I've given him some pointers and, from what stuff that I learned, but the hands-on through the training is just that was very well done and very well thought out. I'll tell you, I couldn't be more impressed with what we brings to the table.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm very excited about that because I know when we talked the first time, everybody is unsure, what they're seeing, and really do you deliver on all the stuff that, from a sales perspective, we talk about all the time. But, finding about after the fact, after going through the process and hearing that is great for me. But it's also great for everyone listening to know that, hey, this is real. This is really that turnkey solution. And I know I talked to Florin about it early on. This is not his primary, it's your primary, right? It's not his primary line of business, but you want something that is truly turnkey and is a simple solution that does check all those boxes. So I think, Florin, you'd agree that is what you found.
Sure, absolutely. It's been great so far. The response has been fast, and if we need something, it seems like somebody's responding to us on all levels, from the marketing department or, the customer service or, onboarding team and sci-fi, Wi-Fi, whatever you call them, and the acronym of the day. And with everything is working so far so good. I mean, we are fairly, I will not say fairly. We're very impressed with it, and we've been happy, being on board and being able to start writing some business and writing some policies and helping some folks out there.
Well, that's great. Guys, I think I just want to welcome you to the We family. And again, it's great having people I know kind of join us as well, because it's always fun to see you guys come aboard. But if there's any parting comments you want to leave?
We're ready to roll, and we're gonna be growing. We're gonna be growing together with We, obviously, and I know the future will be bright, and we're gonna implement some of those ideas that we learned from training, but we're gonna go full on this. So
fantastic. Well, that's our main focus, right? Is to really help you build a foundation to be as successful as you possibly can be. And, to focus on the growth of, that book and helping as many clients as humanly possible. So I am very, very happy to have you guys aboard. Thank you for joining me again. This is just a quick We welcome. We'll check in with you again down the road, especially when you get some more producers on and see how their, reaction is and what kind of experience you've built up over the next, 6 months, maybe a year. And again, thank you for joining me today. And you guys have a great weekend.
You too. Take care. Cheers. All the best.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
All right.